Just in case you didn't download and install Acquia's Dev Desktop earlier, go ahead over to acquia.com/downloads and choose the Dev Desktop version of your choice, if you're on a Mac, of course, or if you're on a PC. There is no Linux version, so you'll need one of those platforms. Click on the download. It's not very big, and it won't take very long. Once you've downloaded that file, come back to the video, and we'll go ahead and install Dev Desktop. Well, assuming you've got your download, go ahead and open the download file. Again, if you're on a PC, this is going to be slightly different. And the Dev Desktop installer should pop up on your Mac. Again, on your PC, it'll show up as well once you've unzipped the file. I'm going to double click on that installer, and we'll go through the installation process. It's actually pretty simple. Depending on the security of your system, it might ask for a password. But once you've done that, you'll see this screen, Welcome to the Acquia Dev Desktop Installer. Click Next. You're about to install the following. Again, you can read that if you want. Click Next. There's a Terms of Agreement here. It's pretty standard. You might want to uncheck the securely sending diagnostic and usage data to Acquia. It's up to you. Click Next. And now it's going to tell you where it's putting the software. The software is going to be in Dev Desktop inside my Applications folder. Again, if you're on a PC, that's going to be different. And the Sites folder is going to be at Users, Rod Martin, Sites, Dev Desktop. This is where I like to put my Dev Desktop sites. You can put them wherever you want outside of the main application folder. Acquia will find them. It's totally up to you. Click Next. I'm going to encourage you to leave the ports the same. These are special ports that aren't related to the normal internet. Click Next. This is a quick review of your information. Click Next. Click Next. And now Dev Desktop is downloading all the files it needs. Depending on the speed of your internet, this can take up to a minute or two. And there we are. We're all finished. Click Finish. And Dev Desktop will launch. I can start from scratch. I can start with an existing Drupal site located on my computer, or I can start with an existing Drupal site hosted on Acquia Cloud. For the purposes of this class, we're going to start from scratch. And when you click, you'll find distributions for Dev Desktop that are listed here. We're going to choose the plain vanilla Drupal 8. At the time of the recording, it's at 8.0.2. This may change. Go ahead and stick with the plain vanilla Drupal 8 installation. Click Install, and it's going to ask you where you want to put your local codebase folder, what your site name is going to be, the URL, PHP version, the database, and the database name. Well, this is actually pretty simple to do. I'm going to go ahead and just call this D8SB for Drupal 8 site building. Let's go ahead and change the site name to D8SB as well. That'll give us a nice clean URL. We can, of course, change that later. The minimum PHP version for Drupal is 5.5. I'm going to increase that to 5.6.14 just for future. We're going to create a new database, and it's going to create the database of D8SB, which works because here you can't start the URL or the database with a number, and you can't have spaces in the local site name. Click Finish. Drupal's going to download our distribution. Doesn't take very long at all. And there we have it. Click on your local site. We'll choose English as our language. Save and continue. And we'll leave all of this the same with Acquia's Dev Desktop version 2. The database username is Drupal user, and there is no password. If you're ever going to move this to a live site, of course, that's really, really dangerous. But for now, we'll leave it as it is. Save and continue. And Drupal is now running out to get all of the modules that it needs to run our site. This, again, doesn't take very long depending on your internet speed. So come back when this is done. All right, we're ready to configure our site. We're going to call this Hotels of Sydney. Email at email.com. It doesn't need to be a real email address, just needs to be a properly formatted one. Go ahead and use your username and password as admin and admin. I just usually do that because it's a local host. I'm in the United States, and I'm in the Detroit time zone. Go ahead and uncheck receive email notifications because, of course, unless you put a real email address in there, it's not going to work. Click Save and Continue. And congratulations, we're ready to go. In the next video, we'll install a number of modules using a really awesome feature called Drush.